now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome inside the Fan Cave. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Bob Pompeani is my name. Love to talk to you, and all you have to do to get involved in this conversation is call 412-575-2600. On X, it's at KD-Pomp. We have a lot of different texts and tweets about Carmen Mlodzinski, which is going to be a topic tonight, certainly on this show, after the Pirates sweep the Minnesota Twins and now get 4 games over 500, 32-28. And here's something else about the Pirates. There are only 5 teams in Major League Baseball to this point of the season which have scored 300 or more runs in the year. You got the Yankees, you got the Dodgers, you have the Braves, the Nationals, and your Pittsburgh Pirates are on that list. They have just hit the ball all over the place, and this is without any real significant contribution from Marcell Ozuna or Henry Davis or any of the other catchers who've been in there on a regular basis. So I'll tell you one guy who's really playing well for them, he doesn't get a lot of notoriety and should, is Nick Gonzalez. He's hitting over 300. He's in the lineup every day. Even though he's been batting cleanup, and a lot of people wondered why, he's been an RBI kind of guy. He has 26 on the year. And the Pirates have 4 guys over 30 already. And it's the first time, maybe, I don't know how long that's been, where they've had 4 guys at the end of May over 30 runs batted in. But Gonzalez finally got that monkey off his back today, which was a home run into the bullpen out in left center field. So that's good for him to see. But 25 runs scored this weekend. It all started with that walk-off win on Friday night when Brian Reynolds connected against Tyler Rogers. That one ended the game and made it 6-5. They end up winning 10-9. As you saw on Saturday, and then today it was a blowout at 9-3. But Mlodzinski is going to be a guy you're going to talk about when it comes to Cy Youngs. You know, we mentioned a lot about Pirate pitchers, and Skeens is the defending Cy Young champ. But he's not off to his best start based on his own expectations, I'm sure. However, by the end of it, he's going to be in that conversation. But when you look at the National League, this is going to be tough because you have a lot of guys who put out record-setting numbers. Christopher Sanchez of the Phillies went the entire month of May, did not give up 1 run, a 0.00 ERA. And then you have Jacob Mlodzinski of the Brewers, who went 5-0, struck out 57 in 38 innings. His ERA was 0.23. You have Shohei Ohtani, who for the month of May had an ERA of 0.97. And then you have guys like Chris Sale, the veteran, has been great. Chase Burns has had more people chase than anyone else in the business. He's been really good for them. You know, so many guys on that list. It's going to be hard to figure out who's going to win the Cy Young, but that's fascinating to watch. As far as Carmen Mlodzinski, we have this from Jill Ballmer on X, and if you have something to say there, just let me know at KD Pomp. She says, although I feel for Mlodzinski, at this point he needs to be the bigger man and do the bullpen. He'll be a starter again, which is true. And I think, quite frankly, I'm not sure what happened to put him on that list today, the restricted list, which is something that most guys don't want to be on because you don't get paid, you don't get service time. He must have said something to them or done something. He was supposed to pitch today, and he never got out there, said he wasn't ready, so they put him on that list. I would imagine that's going to be short time on that list. He'll be probably reinstated on this trip, and you should expect him to pitch. As I glance through these tweets, it's hard to find him on the fly, so I apologize for that. I'll try to get some as I go. But that's going to be something to watch. Jared Jones was back in the rotation the other night. And he did, you know, what you would expect, which is first game back since 2024. That's a long time without pitching. And he ended up giving up 5 runs or whatever it was. But he hit 101 on the gun. I think the things you're looking for in his arm is it back? And it looks like it is back. He gave up a couple of home runs. The location was not as great as he probably wanted it to be, but he's going to be a big part of their rotation. So we'll see what happens coming up. It's an interesting matchup on Tuesday in Houston because you have Mike Burrows, the former Pirate, and he is going to go up against Bubba Chandler, who really needs to start being more consistent there. And the deal for Burrows ended up with the Pirates getting 3 guys, as it turned out, in Lau and Mangum and Montgomery. So all those guys have been big contributors for the Pirates so far this season. 412-575-2600 is the number to call. Also talk about some other stuff like the NHL Finals and the NBA Finals. Which of these matchups is more intriguing to you? San Antonio against the New York Knicks in the NBA, or would it be Vegas and Carolina in the NHL? Call me, let me know what you think. We'll take a break and open up those phone lines. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We do it 7 nights a week right here on KDKA Plus and 93.7 The Fan. Hope you join us. All right, welcome back. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night. It comes from Codify. Jacob Mlodzinski has already thrown more 100-plus pitches this year than any other Major League starter in any single season in recorded history, and it's only May 31st. He has been outstanding. If I'm looking at Cy Youngs right now, to me it's a two-man race, and there are still 4 more months to go, but it'd be Mlodzinski and Christopher Sanchez, I would think, at the top. Those guys have been, and I think the Pirates saw what Sanchez could do when he was here in Philadelphia and just on a Saturday afternoon made him look helpless at the plate and shut him out. And Mlodzinski just doesn't walk anyone. It's amazing what he's been able to do on the mound for Milwaukee, and that kid can bring it, as that tweet just said. All right, we want to get to the phone lines, but before we do, Jake on X says this: Carmen Mlodzinski is being paid a lot of money by the Pirates to play a kid's game that he loves. Since he's acting like a child, treat him like one, send him down to the Indy. Well, they're not going to do that. He's too valuable to them, and in many ways, he's a victim of his own success, Jake, because he's had a lot of success out of the bullpen, and that's what he did to get into the starting rotation. So he'll be in that bullpen eventually. You know, I don't know what has gone on behind the scenes other than when you put a restricted label on someone, you're telling him he's not going to get paid. Carmen Mlodzinski wants to be a starter because there's more money to be made as a starter. I don't think there's any question about that. But he could be one of those Andrew Miller type of guys. Remember him back in the day when he comes in the 5th, 6th, 7th inning, could close games, could come in and go 3 or 4 innings. They have a guy, Wilbur Dotel, who I think is very good in that regard too. So we'll see how it goes. They released Justin Lawrence, so they're to the point now where they're just saying we want to see we need better performance in the bullpen. 412-92, I keep saying that, 412-575-2600. The other numbers for the 93.7 The Fan, which is on tonight as well, so you can do both, I suppose. But the one that'll get you through here is 575-2600. Ray in Whitehall is our first caller tonight. Hey, Ray, how are you?
Hey, how you doing? This
Good.
is a crucial situation for the Pirates. They got to get this thing figured out. I've been following this team for a long time, and the bullpen is really holding them back. And I think that Cherington deserves major criticism for having Santana and Ramirez still in there. Maybe you keep one of them for mop-up duty, but I just think that they have to also consider using Mlodzinski the way they've used Dotel. I mean, and he doesn't have to.
It's going to be like that.
3 or 4 innings. Yeah, I think, and I'm a little concerned because I'm looking at Cherington's interview, and it's just such doom and gloom, and I wonder if he's holding us back. I wonder if this situation is really worse than what he's telling me.
No, I think that's his persona. He doesn't necessarily get overly excited about anything, and I think the problem is here they counted on Santana being what he was the last couple of years. He's been DFA'd a lot. Most guys in their bullpens, in fact, most guys in every bullpen have been DFA'd at one point or another. So that's certainly a strike against him, but it's not uncommon when it comes to bullpen people. Santana had been a very good closer. Started this year like he was going to be that guy. He's lost that job now to Soto. What he needs to do is just get some lower leverage innings and get better. Same is true of Ramirez. He has good stuff, but it doesn't play when you miss the strike zone a lot. Those two guys have got to be better. I'm fine with Soto. I'm fine with Montgomery for the most part. And, if you put Mlodzinski in there right now, that would be fine. Some of these other guys, again, have just got to get better. I don't think there's a solution out there in terms of finding anyone right now. No team's going to trade with you to give you an asset if they're still in contention. So it will be very interesting to see how it goes. Let's go out to Chuck in Uniontown. Chuck, go ahead. How are you?
First of all, thank you. First of all, congratulations, Bob. You got me. The Spurs won.
The what?
The Spurs won.
Oh, yes, right. You wanted the Spurs, and you got the Spurs. You're right about that.
No, I was for the Thunder.
Oh, okay. Well, you made a mistake. Now you have a chance to change your mind and take the Spurs because they're going to beat the Knicks in 5.
Yeah, they should. One other thing, Bob. Joe Negri that died tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know. He, along with Benny Benack and the Iron City Six in 1960, wrote the song "The Bucks Are Going All the Way."
Yeah. Yeah, Joe Negri, a tremendous person. But
anyhow, what I was going to tell you, I'm disappointed in Mlodzinski. I thought he would, be a team player. He doesn't help the situation at all by what he did.
No, I agree with that. He makes it worse. And I understand his disappointment. Thank you, Chuck, for the call. But you got to be a team player, as you said. I mean, they got to make decisions, and not all of them are going your way. Sure, he's disappointed. He had better numbers than Bubba Chandler. You could have argued that Chandler would have been a demotion candidate. But I don't think he works out of the pen as well as Mlodzinski. Again, back to what I said before, victim of his own success. He's had success in the bullpen. And so that's where he ends up. That doesn't mean he won't be back in the starting rotation, Chuck, because, as you know, we're only 2 months into a 6-month journey here. There are going to be injuries along the way, and you normally need 8 starters as you go through a baseball season. So he'll be back in there at some point, I would imagine. Let's go to Gary in Sacramento, California. Hey, Gary, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Very much for your show here.
Good.
So I wanted to talk about management, something I don't understand with the Steelers. First off, go Pittsburgh sports. I want to say this, I'm a transplant from out here, so that's why I'd say that. Listen, I don't get this. A 43-year-old quarterback, when you've got 2 Ohio State studs and you got 2 young people that are, Penn State. I just don't get it. Why we're going with a 43-year-old at $21 million, $10 million last year. If the guy does get us in the playoffs, he's going to ask for a $31 million the year after that.
He's not going to be back a year after that.
If we want somebody, why don't we go with Ben Roethlisberger? Does management ever stop to think about that?
Now, Ben doesn't want to do this, I don't think. Could he? Probably. But, this is the last year for Rodgers. They want to compete this year. Rodgers is their best option competing this year. He really is when you think about it. Those other 2 guys, Howard and Aller, haven't played in the NFL, and there's going to be some indoctrination that you're going to have to go through before you get out there, acclimate yourself to that league and those players. Mason Rudolph is a good guy to have on the team, but he's probably better suited for that role. Although I wouldn't necessarily discard Rudolph if he does end up starting, what he could do. The last time I saw him in a regular stretch was at the end of that season a few years ago, where he won 3 games in a row and played very well in doing so, and he has the ability to go down the field. But they made their choice. Rodgers for this year, he's not going to be back next year. Next year, the whole thing is up in the air again, and we'll have to see how it goes with not only Howard or Aller, but down the road, if there's a draft person available in the first round for them, who knows how this quarterback draft is going to unfold, because we saw last year it was supposed to be good this year and it wasn't. So you just have to watch and see. They got to figure that out eventually. And life is so much simpler when you have a quarterback in place. You don't have to worry about drafting it year in and year out or making deals that way. Mark is in Whitehall, and now he's right here on the Sports Call. Hey, Mark.
Bob.
Yes.
I can't believe. Okay, the first time I've ever seen the restricted list was today.
Well, they use it for guys who have different stuff going on. But yeah, in this situation, I haven't seen this in quite a long time. You're right.
Okay. So the Pirates have never used it.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know about never. I haven't checked into that.
Okay, and I don't think this is a big deal. I think he had to have done a lot to get on this list. Don't you think?
Well, I think something had to happen. There's no question. I mean, if he wasn't ready to pitch, they could have done a lot of things, because I still think he has. They're not going to send him down, but they could have done something, or just roll the dice. They have a day off tomorrow. They didn't need to take this drastic of a step, in my opinion, just like you suggest. They had to bring up Cam Sanders to pitch, and he did pitch today. They were kind of beat up in their bullpen, so maybe they felt it was, they had to do something. I'm not sure, because we don't have details on what happened or what was said behind closed doors. What I do know is that I don't think this is going to last very long. If it does, then it's a bigger problem, and he becomes a bigger problem to himself, because I think he's getting some bad advice here, maybe from his agent or whatever, because this kind of stuff goes around the league, and then you're looked at as, oh, this is a malcontent. He's not. He's someone who's frustrated. I get it. Let's see if he's back off that list soon, and if so, when he gets into a game. And hopefully he'll understand you got to do whatever they ask you to do. You're being paid by them. Sometimes you can't control this stuff, so just go out and do your job. And I think that's the mindset he should have had. So whatever the case is, I don't think it's going to last all that long. We'll see, though. He should be reinstated from that list, I would imagine, as this road trip begins on Tuesday night in Houston. And then they got Atlanta, a team that's been on fire so far. Then the Dodgers come to Pittsburgh. So the next few games are going to be very interesting for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who find themselves right now 5 games out of first in a very, very crowded National League Central Division. We'll take a break, come back with more. Reminder to join us for the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown tonight, 11:35 KDKA. We'll talk to you then, but come back and call us at 412-575-2600 right here on KDKA+. All right, welcome back. We continue at 412-575-2600. Bob Pompeani with you. I'd also like to get your take on these 2 final series with the Hurricanes in Vegas in the NHL, and then Wembanyama and company, San Antonio with the Knicks. I think that's going to be a short series. Knicks have been great, but they feasted on an Eastern Conference, which I don't think is as good as the West. I would expect San Antonio to win that in like 5 games. The other one, Carolina, is a dominating team, but the Vegas Golden Knights have some very good veteran players there, and they get an outstanding goaltending by Carter Hart. When Aiden Hill wasn't getting it done, and he's an expensive guy to be sitting on the bench, but Carter Hart took his job away. Robert is in Cowlsville. Where is that, Robert?
It's north of Pittsburgh.
Okay. Well, welcome.
35 miles to Pittsburgh. I was just wondering why Lau wasn't awarded a challenge on that call. It was truly a ball.
Yesterday.
I never heard anything why he wasn't awarded a challenge.
Yeah, I don't understand, because he did everything you're supposed to do. He went to his head as soon as that pitch, it's kind of a delayed call by the umpire, and once he saw it was a ball, then he went to his head, tapped his helmet. That signifies you won a challenge. I don't know, was there something that came from the dugout? Because dugouts are not allowed to, be involved in this. It has to be the catcher, the hitter, or the pitcher. That's it. Nobody else. You can't get advice from the bench. But it was so quick, I don't understand why. He was mad, and he should have been mad. And I have no idea what he said as he was, and he didn't have to get thrown out of the game. Whatever he said, so be it. If you show an umpire up, that's different. He didn't. He just, if he said something, no one needed to know. No one needed to have any, explanation about what he did there. But, those umpires sometimes have very short fuses. All right, as far as the NBA is concerned, I do have a lot of respect for Jalen Brunson. They have 3 Villanova players on that team. They brought in Bridges to go with Hart and Brunson. Brunson is just dynamic, and he is, ever since he came to New York, they have been very good. They've gone to the Eastern Conference semifinals twice, finals last year, and now to the NBA finals. Before that in Dallas, even though he was paired with Luka Doncic, they didn't do all that much. But Victor Wembanyama is a very, very interesting name. He could be, when it's all said and done, if he stays healthy, maybe the greatest player in the history of the National Basketball Association. I say that because he's 7'5". He can rebound. He can block shots. He's going to probably have the most blocked shots in history, again, if he stays healthy. He has to put some weight on that frame, I think. But he can shoot threes. He can play point guard if you need him. He can dribble. He can do everything you can ever ask in a guy who's 7'5". So you couple him with some of the young guys they've gotten with Harper, Castle, Vassell, and even, Champagny, who was outstanding last night. I think he had 22 points. He was hitting threes from all over the place. They got a very good team. So does Oklahoma City. It's a shame somebody had to lose. You hear that a lot. But bottom line is, OKC is out. Defending champs are done. So it's San Antonio against the Knicks. And in the NHL, again, you got a good series there. I think Carolina will win that one. They've been, and they're due. They've been close a lot. They haven't been able to get to the finish line. I think this year they do. That's going to do it. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll do it again tomorrow night, 10:35 right here for another edition of the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Have a good week.